and welcome to this episode of John's Motorcycle Rescue and Review. In today's video, we are once again with the 2002 Kawasaki ZZR1200 project. Since the last episode, I have made a lot of progress on this bike. In the previous episode, I had addressed the clutch issue on the bike. I have bled out that system and now it is functioning properly. I also addressed the electrical issue on this bike, and that was the fuse at the starter solenoid was blown. And so now I have a running motorcycle. While test riding the bike, I noticed a lot of shimmying in the front end, and I could definitely feel that the front end steering stem bearings were loose.
I'll hit the brakes here. Yeah, I've got some shimmy in the front end here.
To remedy that, I went in and I tightened my steering stem bearings by about 1/4 of a turn. That set the proper tension on the steering stem bearing such that when I had the front end in the air, I could not shake the forks at all. There was no looseness there, and I had very nice free-flowing movement from side to side without a lot of drag on the bearings. So that aspect of the front end has been dealt with, and it rides a lot nicer now. I'm not worried about the front end kind of changing geometry as I hit the brakes. On a subsequent test ride, after tightening down the steering stem bearings, I noticed that my front brake rotors were significantly warped, so those needed to be replaced. Looking at the pricing on the new brake rotors for the front of the bike, I realized that they were very expensive to replace the rotors and pads on the bike. I also noticed that there were some much less expensive made in China brake rotors that looked just like the other aftermarket rotors, and I thought this would be a great opportunity to get some of those and put them on this bike and to try them out and to see how those function compared to the typical EBC rotors that I usually put on the bikes. My thought was that if the rotors performed nicely, that it would be a good cost-effective solution for you guys if you're out there looking. If they did not perform as advertised, that it would be a cautionary tale. So I ordered up a set of rotors and pads that are produced by a company called Tarazon. When they arrived, they looked to be in good condition and everything looked nice. They fit very precisely on the motorcycle, so I was very happy about that. Unfortunately, as soon as I started to test ride the bike, I realized that these brake rotors were warped right from the factory. It still had a shimmy in the front end under braking, and the more I rode the bike, the worse that became. So as the rotors heated up a little bit, they warped even further. Thankfully, the company that I ordered these through on eBay refunded my money, so I didn't lose out there. This is just a cautionary tale for you guys out there. I know when you go on eBay and Amazon, there are a lot of parts that are made in China, and they are significantly cheaper than similar appearing products from reputable companies. So far in my experience, 95% of the time when you buy a cheap Chinese knockoff aftermarket replacement part, they are of significantly lower quality than either the OEM part or an aftermarket part that is made by a reputable manufacturer. In the case of the rotors, I went ahead and ordered a new set of brake rotors through EBC. I have used EBC replacement rotors on many of my bike projects, and I've never had an issue with them. They have always performed flawlessly and been of top quality when I've installed them on the bike. I also ordered a set of Spiegler steel-braided brake lines for the front of this bike. That's going to enhance the performance of the braking on this bike. This is a very fast, heavy motorcycle, and I want all the stopping power I can get on this thing, and I want safe, easy, controllable stops. With the EBC rotors, new pads, and the Spiegler brake lines, this thing should stop as well as it accelerates. So I'm very excited about that. In preparation for installing those new parts, I went ahead and I pulled off the front calipers and I rebuilt the front calipers on the bike. Those are ready to go. In the meantime, I also rebuilt the rear caliper on the bike, and I have installed a new set of brake pads on that. So the rear of the bike is ready to go at this point. Another minor thing that I did while I was working on the bike When I bought the bike, it was missing a clip that the right turn signal screwed into. Thankfully, when I removed the right side panel on the bike, that clip actually fell out on the ground, and I was able to reinstall it and get my turn signal reinstalled, and it is now set in there properly, and it looks and functions like it should. Another minor issue that I noticed when I was working on the bike is that when I turn the handlebars all the way to either side, that my handlebars were actually barely contacting the tank. And what I did was loosen up the bolts that secure the handlebar, push it out to the proper angle, retighten everything down. I did that on the right side and the left side of the bike, and now I don't have any issues there. Whenever you're changing a handlebar or a handlebar position or adding risers to the bike, you definitely want to gently tighten things down and then check your steering from side to side and make sure that nothing contacts the inner fairing, nothing contacts the tank. Not only can that cause cosmetic issues like a dent in the tank or cracks in your fairing, it could also be a safety issue when you're out on the road. You definitely don't want to be hitting your thumbs or jamming your fingers in between the handlebar and the tank. The only other issue that I noticed on the test drive was that the bike has a minor lean spot between 3,500 RPM and 4,000 RPM, and it's only really noticeable in the lower gears. In doing a little bit of research, I think that's a common issue with these motorcycles, and I've heard that if you shimmed up the needles in the carburetors, that will kind of cure that little bit of lean spot. As it is, the lean spot is very much on the mild side. It is not a drivability issue with the bike, but it's something I plan to do in the future as I get this bike 100% sorted. Whenever you buy a non-running motorcycle, it is a gamble. There are always things that you cannot check when you buy a bike that you can't ride. On this one, I got really lucky with the electrical issue. It was simply a blown fuse, so I didn't spend a lot of money on that. Conversely, on this one, I was not aware that the front brake rotors were warped and that there was such a hard shimmy in the front end under braking. I couldn't ride the bike, so I had no idea about that. The previous owner didn't disclose that. So the money I saved on the electrical fix will definitely be spent on the braking upgrade I'm making to this bike. The day that I bought this motorcycle, I also bought another motorcycle project, and that was a 2016 Kawasaki Versys 1000 LT. The Versys 1000 is another one of my favorite all-time motorcycles. I have previously reviewed a 2015 Kawasaki Versys 1000 LT on this channel, and you can click the link above to see that review if you'd like to. As I was going over that bike and making sure that it was ready to go, I realized two things. The first thing was that that bike had been purchased from a dealership within the last 150 miles. And the next thing I noticed was that there were several significant items that had been overlooked by the dealership when they sold it. And so in an upcoming video, I'm going to go over the importance of checking over your own motorcycle, even if you buy that from a dealership. And one of the traditional reasons and kind of the selling point for a lot of dealerships is that you're buying a bike from somebody who knows what they're doing and has looked the bike over and made sure it's safe to go. And while that's the idea in theory, in practice, sometimes it's a different story. I'll be going over the issues that I found with that motorcycle while I was checking it over in an upcoming video. I've had several viewers suggest that I test this ZZR back-to-back with my 1986 Yamaha FJ1200. I think that's an absolutely fantastic idea. I'm putting the steel braided brake lines on this motorcycle, and I'm going over the brakes. I want to get that addressed before we do the test. In the meantime, I've also ordered steel braided brake lines for the FJ1200. I will install those, and then I will test these back to back. They're both almost all stock machines, and I think it'll just be a fun test to see the progress that has been made between 1986 and 2002 on the more sporting sport touring motorcycles. As soon as I get this bike finished up mechanically, I plan to do a full review of this ZZR1200 in an upcoming video, so I'm really excited about that. As always, I hope you found this video entertaining and informative, and until next time, enjoy the ride.